Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe my channel. The light in the old beach house was different in September. It was softer, a golden haze that seemed to dust every surface, making the past feel close enough to touch. Eleanor found the box in the attic, tucked under eaves where the salt air couldn't reach it. It wasn't labeled. It didn't need to be. Settling on the worn rug, she lifted the lid. The scent of aged paper and forgotten summers rose to meet her. And there, on top, was the first photograph. A tiny girl, no more than 5, sat on this very porch, her small shoulders slumped. A storm of dark hair obscured her face, but Eleanor remembered the expression perfectly. A furrowed brow, a mouth turned down at the corners, a profound confusion about a world that seemed too loud, too bright, too demanding. Her finger traced the faded outline of the child, Violet. The name had been a promise of delicacy and grace, but those early years had been anything but. They had been a beautiful, heartbreaking chaos, a whirlwind of slammed doors and silent treatments, of misunderstood words and torrential, inexplicable tears. Eleanor had navigated it like a sailor in a fog, clutching the frayed ropes of instinct, trying to reach a shore she couldn't see. She remembered the ache in her arms after holding a stiff, unyielding little body for what felt like hours, whispering nonsense songs until the storm inside the child finally broke into the blessed relief of sleep. She remembered the other photos, the ones she'd never taken. The one of the half-eaten birthday cake pushed onto the floor. The one of the new frilly dress tossed into the corner of the closet, replaced by the same soft gray sweatshirt day after day. The one of her own face, reflected in a window, etched with the fatigue so deep it felt permanent. It wasn't anger. It was a deep, tectonic shifting of two souls learning to inhabit the same space. Violet's mind was a labyrinth, and Eleanor, for a long time, had no map. She fumbled. She made mistakes. She sometimes cried in the pantry, muffling the sound with a bag of rice. She was trying to build a bridge, but often felt she was throwing stones into a deep, dark chasm, waiting for a splash that never came. But then she found another photo, tucked beneath the first. This one was from a few years later. Violet was sitting at the kitchen table, her small face illuminated by a slant of afternoon light. She was looking at a complex drawing she'd made, an intricate web of lines and patterns that only she understood. But this time her expression was different. There was a focus, a quiet intensity. There was a self-possession beginning to bloom. That was the turning point. Not a dramatic moment, but a quiet series of them. Learning that the gray sweatshirt was a shield against a world of overwhelming textures. Understanding that the silence wasn't a rejection, but a necessary retreat. Discovering that the key wasn't to fix her, but to witness her. To learn her language. Eleanor's phone buzzed on the floor beside her, lighting up with a new message. It was a photo, sent from Violet, who was now hundreds of miles away at college. In it, she stood with a group of friends, her head thrown back in laughter, her eyes bright and clear. No confusion, no storm. Just a young woman, solid and sure in her own skin. She was no longer the little girl in the photograph. She was the architect of her own labyrinth, and she had learned to guide others through it. Eleanor looked from the faded image in her hand to the vibrant one on the screen. The journey between them had been the most difficult and rewarding of her life. It had been messy and confusing and achingly beautiful. It had been their story, and every heartbreaking, glorious step of it had been worth it.